Very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 6th October. I hope you all are doing well. Today is Saturday. I'm sure you are going to enjoy your weekend, isn't it? Now, we don't have that many articles because today is Saturday, but the most important article that we find is this one, Focus on Inflation. A very interesting article. We are going to learn so many things about economics and how it works and other things associated with it. Then the second article we have is Augmenting Life. This one is about Nobel Prizes. I'm going to throw some more light on this one. We have some special lectures already available on our platform as far as this Nobel 2018 prizes are concerned. Then we have a very interesting article, Avoiding the Currency Basket Case. What it is all about, history of Indian rupee and dollar. There was a shared history, you can say, and our relationship with other countries in terms of bilateral relation. You know how rupee was used by various different countries, and it was considered once upon a time a multilateral currency, but things are not going very well as far as Indian rupee is concerned in recent past. So we are going to talk about it. If there is any way out, then we'll talk about it as well. And this one is about politics, or you can say political history of Uttar Pradesh. Very easy read article. I will leave it on you guys to read it. Right, I of course reckon you guys to go through it at least once. You'll find a couple of GK items, but as far as analysis is concerned, I don't think so you require any sort of analysis of this article. Very easy to read article. So let's move on. Now, before moving ahead, let me inform all of you that our pen drive and tablet courses are available for various different exams. To find out more about it, do check out StudyIQ.com. If you have any question or queries regarding it, give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen. You'll also get chat support on our portal. Now, first of all, before moving ahead, thank you, all of you, all those aspirants out there, sincere aspirants who are sharing this lecture with other students. You are the ones who are talking about it, and you are the ones who are recommending other students as well to follow this video series. So thank you so much, and I will reckon you guys to keep on spreading the good words about this lecture. If you genuinely believe things are good, and of course I believe that if you genuinely believe, then only you are following this lecture for a very long period of time now. So please make sure this will help me a lot, and here my mission is not just about views, right? Views are byproduct. The main mission here is nation building. So let us all become part of this good cause, and let's start up a discussion on this focus on inflation. Now, Reserve Bank of India, that is our central bank, or you can say apex bank of our country, Reserve Bank of India, as in its latest policy review, it has kept key rate unchanged. Right, that's what we find in today's article or news items, that the key rates are kept as it is by RBI. So how it works is, you might have heard about this term called policy rate or repo rate. Repo rate is basically a rate at which the RBI lends money to lower banks. So I'll give you a rough hypothetical example just for your understanding here, not being too technical here. But of course, as far as understanding is concerned, that's the thing that we have to develop, right? So let's imagine that we have this RBI, our apex bank, not apex court, apex bank of our country, and then we have SBI, then we have BOB. So again, using our imagination, right? Let's say that SBI is seeking some money. It is out of money. It wants to give money to its new clients. Some people are, or industries, or some industrialists are basically asking for some loans, and SBI is a bit running short as far as money is concerned. So it will knock the doors of RBI. Now RBI, say for example, it is having money and it is ready to lend as well, but it will not give SBI money for free, right? It will charge a certain amount of interest, because at the end of the day, business is business. Everyone, RBI has to maintain its books. When I say books, I'm talking about accounts, profit and loss and everything, balance sheet and everything. So same thing goes for SBI and BOB as well. So RBI will give money to SBI for government securities that will be deposited by SBI, and then RBI will hand over money, but it will charge interest rate. So this interest rate is called repo rate, right? Repo rate is a rate at which the RBI lends money to banks. So now, say for argument like at present it is charging, here it is 6.5, but just using this example 7%, or let's make it 10%, right? That if you want money from RBI, then it will give you a loan, but you will get it for at the rate of 10%. So of course, as a bank, right, you will not give away the same money to your client at the same rate. You will charge something more, isn't it? Because you have to maintain your profit as well. So let's say that you will charge 15%. So if I borrow money from SBI, say 1 lakh rupee loan, then I will be paying 15,000 rupees as interest, isn't it? So that's going to be a bit expensive for me. So I would rather think that rather than buying a house at present or buying a car or any other thing, I would rather, I will not spend money now. There is no point if I have to pay this much amount of interest. So basically what I'm trying to tell you here is that if interest rate is too high, right, then things or loans will become expensive. If loans are expensive, then you will find that that liquidity that is required, will not be there. Banks will, if bank is not having money and if RBI is charging huge amount of interest, then banks will refrain from taking loan from RBI, because they will be very much aware that the end customer, the person who is going to borrow money from the bank, is not going to pop down because of this high interest rate. So interest rate is again a key, you can say, or a tool to control the flow of money, and controlling the flow of money or policy that is associated with controlling flow of money is called monetary policy. I hope things are clear to you now. Now, the decision about this monetary policy is taken by 6-member MPC, that is Monetary Policy Committee. Decides whether this interest rates should be hiked, or it should be increased, or it should be decreased. Now let me throw some light on this MPC as well, Monetary Policy Committee. So you have 6 members, you have 3 members from RBI, and then you have 3 members that are appointed by Government of India. Just in case, all the decisions are taken by voting. So if they are happy on something, if 6 members, all of the 6 are saying that yes, they are ready for interest rate hike, then it will go up. If 4 members are saying that yes, it should go up, then it will go up as well. But just in case, if you have this situation of 3 members saying yes and 3 members saying no, then finally the final call of RBI governor will be the final, you can say the final judgment, right? If RBI governor is saying yes, we need to increase, then it will be increased. If he or she is saying that no, then it will be a big no. So I hope this thing is clear to you as well as far as this functioning of MPC is concerned. Now you have some basic other details that I have clubbed here, like 1 basis point is 1/100th of percentage point. So 1 basis point is 0.01%, or 100 basis point is 1%. So now just help yourself with it, right? Just go through these items. Now you find one more thing in financial paper. It is been given that the stance is basically a posture. So the posture of RBI at present is it was neutral. From neutral it has changed its stance to calibrated tightening. Now what this calibrated tightening is all about, you have basically 3 different types of, so far we have discussed. One is neutral. Neutral is something similar to your gear, right? Your motorcycle or your 4-wheeler, where you keep your car or motorcycle in neutral. That means you are not moving, you are not willing to go ahead, or you are not going back as well. So no reverse, no front drive, you are just there, static, you are as it is. So neutral stance is you are not going to increase interest rate, you are not going to decrease interest rate. This is final for time being, for a short period of time, maybe 2 months or 3 months or 5 months, it depends. So that's what neutral stance is all about. Then you have one called accommodative stance. I have talked about this thing earlier on, just a sort of revision. Accommodative stance is you are keeping your eyes and ears open, and just in case if you find that yes, now this is the time when interest rate should go up or interest rate should go down, then you will, as per the requirement or as per situation, you will take a stance. And then you have this one, it is called calibrated tightening. So rate cut is off the table. That means no rate cut will take place. Here you have to understand the difference here. You are not ready in neutral. You are not ready to increase or decrease, right? You are going to stay where you are at present. But in this calibrated tightening means at least as far as rate cut is concerned, you have made your mind that that will not take place. So I hope this thing is clear to you as well. Then you have other things like growth forecast for financial year 19 will be 7.4%, which is not bad. Interest rate, beg your pardon, inflation target, right? The range is, it should be ideally below 4, but you have this 4%. You have to maintain. When I say you, I mean to say RBI has to maintain interest rate. Again, beg your pardon, inflation somewhere between, 2 to 6%. Ideally, it should be below 4, somewhere between 3 to 4. But when it goes above 4, when we are somewhere around 5, then it's a bit of you can say it will raise ears of RBI. So 4.8 is not bad, right? It's all right. It's okay. It's not that dangerous, but still, ideally, as I told you, it should be below 4. Ideally, between 3 to 4 somewhere is a reasonable inflation rate. So that's everything about this thing. Now, last item that I would like to add here is that RBI officials, they have termed this thing. They have clearly demonstrated, or they have, given out this gesture that inflation targeting, or making sure that inflation is under control, is the main job of RBI. And that's what RBI is going to do as far as this monetary policy is concerned, right? Inflation controlling and making sure that inflation is manageable, is tamed. That's what RBI is supposed to do, and that's the reason why we have this 6 MPC, right, or 6-member body MPC. One more thing, last one, and that's it. Then we are done with it. We have at present the current account deficit is a bit bad in shape, so its current account is in deficit, and it's widening. That's a matter of concern, because simple few things: rupee falling down, and the other thing is imports of oil, right? So as far as we are going to import oil, it's going to be always in red. When I say red, I mean to say in deficit. Now the thing is, at present, rupee value is down. We are going to talk about rupee as well in not next, but one after that one. We have one article on rupee I told you about. So we are going to talk about it. But very briefly, let me tell you that, when rupee value is down, in terms of dollar, in comparison to dollar, when rupee is, say, for example, earlier on yesterday, right, for argument's sake, hypothetical example again, that yesterday the value of $1 was, in terms of rupee, $1 was 50 rupee. Now, if today it is 70 rupee, right, then what's going to happen if you import items. Earlier on, you used to purchase an item that was being sold in international market for $1, you used to pay 50 rupees. But now you will be paying 70 rupees, isn't it? So RBI has not done anything with this rupee value. RBI is having huge amount of stock of dollar, so demand and supply. So at present, if the demand of dollar is high in international market because of this thing, and then you have limited supply, so the importance as well as the value of dollar is going to go up. And this is one of the reasons why Indian rupee and other developing currencies, developing countries' currencies are falling down in terms of value, in terms of, in comparison to dollar. So when RBI is having huge amount of, or huge stock of this dollar, it can release this and it can control this price. But the reason why it is not doing is because at present, if the value of rupee is down compared to if we have this position here, then naturally imports are going to become more expensive. And if imports are expensive, then you are going to import less. So by doing this, RBI is indirectly trying to control this current account deficit as well. I hope this one is clear to you. So we have talked about so many important concepts, isn't it? I believe that things should be clear to you. If you have any question or queries, just in case, then let me know. I will try to cover it up in maybe in next lecture, or maybe in future lectures whenever we discuss something similar to this thing. Augmenting life, it's an easy to understand, not that technical, not that difficult to understand as far as your general studies is concerned, right? You don't have to be too technical with chemistry, and if it's your mains examinations, mains optional subject, then yes, you would need understanding of master's level, but as far as your general studies papers are concerned, you don't need a solid background. All you need background, I mean to say, you don't have to come from science background. If you are if you have a good understanding, basic understanding, then that's more than enough. Now you'll find a couple of names here in this editorial. In 2018 Nobel Prize for Chemistry, a tribute. It looks like it's this chemistry Nobel Prize is paying a tribute to the power of evolution, because what we find is Francis H. Arnold, he worked on this directed evolution, and he basically worked on this naturally occurring enzymes and how we can use it for biofuels and pharmaceuticals. Then the other prize, out of this one full prize, half went to this Francis H. Arnold, and the other half was divided in equal parts between George P. Smith and Sir Gregory P. Winter. And they worked on this combat autoimmune diseases. This is called phage display. Now, before moving ahead, let me tell you that we have got special lectures on these items, right, on this chemistry and chemistry in the sense, this Nobel Prizes given out, or 2018's Nobel Prizes on chemistry and physiology and medicine, and also on this physics. So I recommend you guys to please go through it. It will give you some extra information, background information. And the thing is that these lectures are delivered by our experts, like Siddhant Agnihotri is a physicist. So he has delivered a lecture on this chemistry and beg your pardon, on physics. And you can understand now when you are learning from an expert in this field, and he has used very simple language and good examples that will help you understand many different concepts associated with this thing. Same thing goes with Dr. Gaurav Garg's lectures as well. He has this background of medical science, and he has explained this physiology and medicine prize and things associated with it. So I highly recommend you guys to go through it. Here what you will get is limited understanding that is given here in this editorial. So anyways, let me take you through it. 2018 Physiology and Medicine Prize has been given to James P. Ellison and Tasuku Honjo, who is from Japan. And they have worked on this immune system and how these cancer cells can be stopped, and how we can curb this cancer cells proliferation. So immunologists basically, they have worked on this body's immune system, and they have crossed this, they have took us beyond this this boundary where we were earlier on, but now we have breached. As human beings, we have crossed this body's immune system and its natural capacity or its boundaries. So we are in a new phase or a new level, so it's a good thing. 2018 Physics, half goes to Arthur Ashking, and the other half goes to Gerard Moreau and Donna Strickland. Of course, from the name itself, I'm sure you have figured it out that Donna is a lady. And the same thing goes with Frances Arnold as well. Frances Arnold is a lady as well. So two women getting Nobel Prize in science. It's a good thing, right? We want more ladies to win Nobel Prizes, but for that, every one of us have to work. And the main thing here, when it comes to science, art and other things, it's not about women and men, it's more about human beings. But anyways, right, having said that, I strongly support and I strongly believe this thing as well, that more ladies lot, they are going to win Nobel Prizes in future, right? And the numbers are going to go up. The way things are changing in society now, they are getting, so right from the starting, they can visualize a dream, and they are being allowed. When I say allowed, I don't mean to say they should not be. What I'm trying to say is that earlier on they were not allowed, but now, the society as well as parents and everyone, now we are providing that platform. That platform should be provided to each and every gender, third gender, or female, male, everyone. Every human being should be allowed with this platform where they can reach their maximum potential. So anyways, it's all good, right? And it's all good. So let's move on to another item. This is about avoiding the currency basket case. Now, a very interesting article and very important or new things to learn about, and many things to recall or recollect, right? There was a time when I'm sure we have gone through many poems when we were in our school time. We used to have this poem about a promissory note that was used in different parts of country, different parts of the world, out of country as well. Indian promissory notes were used, and so this was, and I think if I'm not wrong, you find a few items on this thing in NCERTs as well. It's been a long time I have gone through NCERT, but I'm sure I have read this thing somewhere in some basic books a couple of years ago. So what I'm trying to tell here is that there was a time when if you were carrying Indian rupee, not this means of course post independence Indian rupee as well, but before that as well, Indian rupees were accepted widely in countries like Java, or in places like Java, Borneo, Macau, Muscat, that is in Oman, Basra and Zanzibar, and there are other names as well. So it was respected, this money, the respect that at present dollar is fetching, the same respect used to be given to Indian rupee too, because we used to trade in different parts of the world, somewhere around big trade. If you go to Japan, if you go to South Korea, you go anywhere, you will find Indian products. There was a time, but now things have changed. Right at present, our global trade share is what, 1% or something, 1.5 or something. Earlier on, it was, if I'm not wrong, it was somewhere around 50%. Right, 50%. We used to cover this. So there was a time, gone history, and the blame goes on us rather than this British Raj, because we were the ones who allowed them to come here and ruin our life and our system. So Indian rupee was once a multilateral currency, and even after independence, very interesting that even after independence, in places like Dubai, you can find RBI minted Gulf rupees. This was going on till 1966, but between 1950s and 1970s, gold smuggling was rampant, and I'm sure we have seen this thing. Most of this action movies of Indian cinema, they used to have this, gangsters, they used to import this this gold smuggling used to take place, and it used to come in this type of boats. Remember this? They are known as dove. Doves are it's a generic name for this traditional sailing vessel, and they used to operate. They were quite visible in Arabian Sea, and in Gulf area, in Persian Gulf and in Red Sea. We used to find this sort of boats. They were used in trading. So just a GK thing here, just to refresh that memory. So there was a time when rupee or RBI minted Gulf rupee was accepted. In fact, that was the main currency. But because of this 1950s and 70s gold smuggling that was rampant, gold coming into our country and money going out. So this thing, keep on going, it happening. And because of this thing, the value of rupee was down, because we started purchasing more, rather than selling, and because of the smuggling. The other thing is, we had some wars as well in 1965. Then other things simultaneously took place, like wars, and 5 years plans came in, and we started borrowing money from foreign institutions. Then political instability was observed as well. Oil prices were going up. So everything amounted, and because of this thing, the value of rupee was going down. And so finally, this Gulf countries they declared that they are going to use their own money rather than relying on someone else's money. And at present, we find only Bhutan and Nepal. These are the countries, they are the ones who are using our, you can easily use our money even today over in these countries. There are very limited countries. So what can we do about it? Because what we are finding here at present is that external disturbances are creating huge amount of trouble for our country, like Iran sanctions, because we import a huge amount of oil from Iran. Then USA and China's trade war. Because of this thing, our production has gone down a little bit as well, because most of the items that we are producing, and we are living in an interconnected world. You know what interconnectedness is all about, right? Supply chain is interconnected. So trade war going on between USA and China is hitting our stock market and our production and other things very badly. And then you have this demand of this oil, and rupee, or we pay it in dollar, interest rates hiked by this USA's federal bank, and all these things are creating troubles for us, and because of this thing our value of rupee is going down. So we need to save our rupee, and the best way we can do it is we can start dealing or doing business with our friendly countries like Russia. We can directly, you can say, ask Russia to deal with us in Indian rupee. If we are selling something to Russia, then we can accept Indian rupee. If we are buying something from Russia, then we should persuade Russia as well as other countries to accept rupee as a currency, so we don't have to use dollar. So one thing is there. The other thing is tax rate rationalization. What is happening is, at present few people are paying a huge amount of tax in our country, but what we need, ideal situation should be lots and lots of people should be paying a reasonable amount of tax. So at the end of the day, when we have this tax rationalization, rate rationalization, then tax base will expand, it will increase, and more money will come with the government. So less money we have to borrow, things will be all right. I hope it's making sense here, and then we can stop or curb generation of black money by having this tax sharing agreements with countries like UK and Switzerland. So all these things together will help us, and with the help of this thing we can save our rupee, and we can step by step, gradually, we can become reasonably immune to this external disturbances. And I'm sure we all have received this message here, this WhatsApp viral message that rupee was once upon a time it was equivalent, or the value was equal to US dollar. That's not right. Back in 1947 as well, $1 used to, to purchase $1 we used to give 3.30 rupee, and it is in 66. Gradually it started going up and up, and at present it's somewhere around 72, isn't it? So that's everything as far as articles are concerned. Now let me tell you quickly about this article here, right? It's about history of Uttar Pradesh, right? Uttar Pradesh political history, easy to understand, don't need any special analysis as far as this article is concerned. So I'm leaving it on you guys to go through it, right? Help yourself with that one. It's not going to be that difficult for you, I'm sure. Now, dear friends, let's move on to news item. Now, let me tell you one more thing. Let me clarify before I take you through news item, right? Analysis, or when I say analysis, the Hindu analysis, it is more about articles and editorials. Latest news, I'm just going to give you direction, right? And it is up to you guys, and it will be totally up to you. You have to read it. If you ask me, if I were you, then I would go through important news items, because I know that if I go through important news items, then tomorrow when I will find editorials and articles on this item, I would be having a good base, and it will become a bit easier for me to understand. Revision will take place, so things are going to stay in my mind for a very long period of time. As far as notes are concerned, it all depends. We have a special lecture on how to prepare notes on our YouTube channel. Help yourself with that one. If you ask me personally, then I would say it's a very customized thing. It's about asking you what to eat and what not to eat, and it is also about asking you what to wear and what not to wear. So it's a very customized, very personal thing. If you are a person who would understand or recall everything by just a few lines or few points, then your notes should be designed in such a way. If you are a person you like to go through full lines, then your notes should be on this pattern, or this is how you have to do your notes. I would say that at the end of the day, the gist or the main essence of notes is that when you read those words or lines or paragraphs or pages and pages, it all depends, right? If you read those lines or these items that you have taken as a note, then the main thing that it should do, or the main job of a note or notes, is that it should give you that trigger. It should nudge you to remember the things that you have already understood or gone through. So I hope this will help you. Now very quickly I'm going to take you through. I'm not going to spend extra time now on, maybe 2 minutes max, or maybe 3 minutes from now on, right, on news items. These items, important news, you have to read it. I give you full facilities, right? You are being provided with this facility of downloading this PDF. You can go through it. You have to go through the newspaper, right? So I'm going to be quick here. I don't want to see any sort of complaints asking me that why I have been, a bit hasty when it comes to news items here, because you have to do it yourself. I'm not going to appear on your behalf in your examination, right? So you have to understand this thing, and I don't want to become a sort of a person on whom you will be totally rely. I'm not going to drag you, right? You have to walk, crawl, jump, run, everything. You have to do it yourself. I can just train you. I can just show you the right method. So always keep this thing in mind. You have to become independent one day. I'm going to be here forever for you guys, but still you have to be independent. You have to learn. So Russia and India, we have signed. So think about it, what USA will react on it. One interesting statement here is this one, that Russia has promised us that just in case, if you find any sort of shortage of oil, right, from Iran because of sanctions or other things, then we are here for you guys. We will supply it. And then you have other, items on which we have discussed and had some MOUs. Nobel Prize for Peace has been given to Nadia Murad and Denis Mukwege. Supreme Court has asked the Union government to respond on this PIL petition seeking this J&J, that is this Johnson and Johnson's, this hip implants. Firing fiasco. 40,000 policemen of Uttar Pradesh are going to be back on training, right, back to classroom. So it's a very poor state of training. And it's not just UP, there are other states as well. They need, or the policemen, they need proper training. Then here you can see, he was Chief Minister of Punjab, that is in Pakistan. Now he is behind the bars. So political games are going on in Pakistan. Then you have Delhi High Court. After 18 years, a person has been released or acquitted. So that's a matter of shame. And then you have this vocabulary. One last item, Cold War is brewing, and this is going on between USA and China. You have vocabs here. Yesterday's answer for your map-based question is Mongolia. Ulaanbaatar is its capital, and it's a Buddhist country. Very good relationship with India. You have this country here. It's going to be a bit difficult, but let me give you a small clue. This country, you will find it in a continent that is number 2 in terms of size, right? Now help yourself with it, and these are your answers, questions. These are your links from where you can download. Now I know that we have handful of people who are sharing this lecture with other students. If you are not sharing it, then trust me, you are not doing that final thing that helps us. If it is helping you, then it's your duty as well to help someone else. So you cannot escape and you cannot leave it on someone else, right? You have to share it. This is a request as well, because it's for everyone. It's for the whole ecosystem, right? It's important that if you want to see this lectures on regular basis, delivered to you on right time, and of course without a charge, then you have to make it big. I cannot make it big, right? You are the ones who can make it big. So please make sure that you are sharing it for your sake and for others' sake as well, and for every one of us. Thank you very much. Enjoy your studies. Tomorrow is Sunday, so we are going to interact with each other. I am going to deliver Sunday's lecture as well, like every Sunday, but it is going to be a little bit later on. It's not going to be this early, somewhere around 11 or 12 maybe, depends, but ideally it will be around 11:30. So enjoy your weekend. I will see you tomorrow. God bless you all. Jai Hind.